I'm Allison Parker, 32, and I'd been dreading this family meeting for months. My siblings, James and Stephanie, always made me feel small with sly digs about my simple lifestyle. They didn't know my tech security company, built from nothing, had just sold for $50 million. I drove a 10-year-old car and lived modestly because possessions never defined me. Today, their assumptions about my worth were about to be shattered. The helicopter was just the start of their wake-up call. Before I dive in, comment with where you're watching from and hit like and subscribe if your family's ever underestimated you. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. As the middle child between James, 40, and Stephanie, 28, I never fit their mold. James, a corporate executive with a Manhattan office and Hamptons getaway, embodied our parents' ideal. Stephanie married Andrew, heir to a banking fortune, her lavish wedding gracing magazines. I, however, was the odd one out, questioning unconventional. While James led student councils and Stephanie reigned as homecoming queen, I built websites for local businesses in high school. My parents saw it as a quirky hobby, expecting I'd eventually choose a real career or marriage. When I skipped college to pursue entrepreneurship, Dad said, "You'll regret this forever," avoiding my gaze. 10 years ago, I left Cedar Springs with $200 and a dream. My family assumed I'd return humbled. Instead, after 2 near bankruptcies, my company's data protection patent took off. 3 years of grueling work led to a $50 million acquisition by Nexus Technologies. I kept this from my family, letting them believe I was scraping by. When James offered rent help or Stephanie gifted me her old clothes, I thanked them and moved on. I valued experiences, funding schools in developing countries over mansions. 3 weeks ago, James called about Mom's hip injury and Dad's worsening dementia. Their retirement couldn't cover premium care, so he summoned a family meeting, implying I'd contribute what little I could. Landing in Cedar Springs, I wrestled with whether to reveal my success or maintain my shield against their judgment. Family dynamics always dragged me back to childhood insecurities. I dressed down, faded jeans, a worn sweater, old sneakers, packing a tattered duffel to match their expectations. My assistant, Margot, questioned my choice, but I wasn't ready to disrupt their narrative. On the flight, I reflected on why I hid my success. Their dismissal of my dreams had hurt deeply, building walls to protect myself. James once said, "Some are meant to lead, others follow. Accept your limitations." That Christmas, as I hid tears, I just closed an international deal. At my childhood home, James greeted me with a jab about my delayed flight or taking a bus. He pitied my worn bag, offering financial help. Mom worried if I ate enough on my budget. Dinner, courtesy of James's delivery service, was a showcase of their superiority. Stephanie gifted me a clothing store gift card for job interviews. Conversations centered on their achievements, with my life framed as a concern. James offered contacts for basic website work. Stephanie laughed about my name-brand cereal success metric. The meeting loomed, their condescension mounting. The next morning, James presented a PowerPoint on upscale care facilities, emphasizing costs. He and Stephanie planned to cover 85%, leaving me 15 cents per $1,200 monthly. They suggested I contribute in kind if that was too much, assuming I couldn't afford it. Dad asked if I had a steady job. James offered an entry-level role at his firm, Stephanie chiming in about its stability. Their narrative that I was a struggling freelancer peaked when James implied I couch-surfed, misinterpreting my house manager as roommates. His final dig, "Material success is out of reach," snapped something in me. I stepped out to call Margot, confirming my transportation. As helicopter blades roared, my family froze. A sleek black chopper landed on the lawn. "That's for me," I said, grabbing my bag. Mom fainted, others gaped. I promised to return in an hour, inviting them to my estate. The helicopter lifted off, Cedar Springs shrinking below. At my 30-acre estate, a restored mansion with gardens and a helipad, Margot had lunch and guest rooms ready. I'd bought it to establish a regional office, balancing roots with my terms. The family portfolio detailed my Westbrook Senior Health Foundation, funding a top-tier care facility for Mom and Dad, with a trust covering all costs. When my family arrived, still stunned, I welcomed them to my home. In the living room, I revealed Parker Security Solutions, its $50 million sale, and my retained leadership. Silence followed. Stephanie questioned my secrecy. James felt foolish. I explained their assumptions. Gift cards, job offers, digs made me invisible. They never asked about my life, dismissing my work as a computer thing. I showed them the portfolio, the foundation's innovative care model, the trust for our parents. Mom cried, realizing their misjudgment. Dad called me special. James admitted his path. Corporate success was unfulfilling, envying my courage. Stephanie confessed her perfect life felt empty, her marriage strained. Their vulnerability bridged years of distance. I admitted hiding my success was partly petty, enjoying the dramatic reveal. Lunch and a tour softened tensions. James asked about my company's rise, Stephanie about my travels. Mom wanted to know my city life. For the first time, they saw me. Over coffee, Dad's clarity shone as he asked about my company's turning point. I shared the struggles, near bankruptcies, ramen dinners, and the patent that changed everything. Stephanie wanted to volunteer at Westbrook. James considered a teaching role. We planned Mom and Dad's care as equals, their facility move collaborative. A family photo captured genuine smiles. I confessed defining myself against them cost me connection. We vowed to rebuild authentically. They stayed overnight, dinner sparking honest talks, Stephanie's hurt, James's defensiveness, our parents' regret. Mom's coffee spill on my rug led to a heartfelt moment. Things are replaceable. This connection isn't. Months later, Sunday dinners became routine. My parents meeting my team, Stephanie volunteering, James teaching. Our dynamic wasn't perfect, but it was real. True wealth wasn't the helicopter or estate. It was being seen for who I am. Have you been underestimated by family? Share below and like, subscribe, or share if this resonated. True success is authentic connection, not possessions.